And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
All right, for Tuesday morning, we've got some marginal VFR up here over the southeast interior with IFR, eastern North Gulf Coast on up into the southeastern Copper River Basin, on down across the southeast coast. VFR Bristol Bay northward to the western Arctic coast and eastward here over the Yukon Flats and the Brooks Range. A lot of IFR out over the central and western Bering Sea and just about all the Aleutians, marginal VFR, Alaska Peninsula into Kodiak Island. And then moving into the afternoon, we'll see IFR edges eastward here with that incoming system and making landfall along the south coast of the Seward Peninsula, extending through the Bering Strait, now up along the northwest coast. And marginal VFR for the western central Arctic coast, but offshore flow up here, keeping it VFR for the eastern Beaufort Sea coastline. Good VFR right on down into Cook Inlet, Shelikof Strait, Bristol Bay. Areas of marginal VFR, Kenai Peninsula, Matanuska Valley, and across the Copper River Basin and the southeast coast. And then for Wednesday morning, no change out here over the Bering Sea, just a lot of IFR there, maybe marginal for Atka Island. Otherwise, that extends up into extreme western Bristol Bay here. But off to the east, the eastern bay here, northward across Kuskokwim Valley, VFR, in across Tanana Valley, Yukon Flats, VFR, IFR slipping eastward here, at least into the northern Kobuk Valley and the southern slopes of the western Brooks Range, and also right along the coast of the Yukon Delta, Nunivak Island area. IFR back into the picture here for the eastern North Gulf Coast, especially Yakutat. Marginal VFR mostly for the Panhandle, with IFR over toward the border. And for the afternoon, that burns off over there, becoming marginal VFR for all of the southeast coast. A little bit of IFR there around the Yakutat area, otherwise marginal for Prince William Sound. And right down the east side of Kodiak, Fognak Islands, with VFR now over the southwest interior from Cook Inlet out to the Kuskokwim Mountains, northeastward here through the east side. Marginal VFR, we've got southwest winds there downsloping off the Brooks Range, so becoming VFR for the central north slope. And lots of IFR out over the Bering Sea here, right on down to the central and western Aleutians, marginal for the eastern Aleutians. And for passes up in the Brooks Range, VFR becoming marginal for Anatuvik and Adigan tomorrow. For Lake Clark and Merrill, marginal VFR to start, VFR to finish. And rainy, same trend, marginal VFR becoming VFR. Windy, same pattern, marginal VFR becomes VFR. And Isabel as well. Mentasta, same forecast, marginal VFR early on and then VFR. Tanita staying pretty marginal throughout the day. And Portage, occasionally marginal. Chilkoot and White, IFR, becoming marginal VFR through the afternoon. Freezing levels here at about 8 to 10,000 feet for the Arctic coast to the Brooks Range, slowly dropping down to about 8,000 feet here, Bristol Bay, southern Cook Inlet into the Gulf, and about 6,000 feet off the coast of the Panhandle. Much warmer air out here to the west with a big area of southwest winds there, pulling 12,000 feet well to the north here, and 10,000 feet all the way north of the Bering Strait. And for icing, a lot of moisture coming in, so we've got considerable moderate rime icing above 8,000 feet here from Kotzebue Sound, right on up across the Brooks Range, shifting eastward here to the eastern Arctic coast, then a break, then some more icing down over the western Aleutians. And for the jet stream, 85 to 90 knot winds there from the southwest through the Bering Strait and the western Brooks Range and North Slope area. Northeast, 65 to 70 knots here across the Alaska Peninsula and eastern Aleutians. And the strongest winds at 33,000 feet staying south of the Panhandle. And for 9,000 feet, light winds for the southeast coast and the Gulf in over southern Alaska. Up to the north, though, we've got southwest flow here, 45 to 55 knots from the Bering Strait, Seward Peninsula, right on up across the western Brooks Range area. And southwest winds way out there to the west, too, at about 50 knots at 9,000 feet. 3,000 feet, 45 to 50 knot winds. Far western Bering Sea down to Shimianatu, 45 to 50 knot winds here from St. Lawrence Island right across the Seward Peninsula and up over the western central North Slope, Brooks Range, and the Arctic coast. Much lighter here to the east and southeast. And turbulence. With those strong winds there, looking at considerable moderate turbulence here. Western Brooks Range, Noatak Valley, right down across the Selawik Valley, Kotzebue, maybe as far east as Ambler, and the Seward Peninsula, as well as St. Lawrence Island. And also out here for the western Aleutians, could see some moderate turbulence as well.